Hi, Assalamualaikum. Good evening,
Good
everybody.
evening, Miss.
Hi,
Good evening, Miss.
Hi.
hello.
Hi.
Hi, Atunya.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. So I hope you guys are good, are well.
Yes, we are good.
How about you, Miss?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. But cuaca panas sikit kan? So it's just the weather lah. I think the weather is quite uh, very apa, panas. Okay, so today we are going to continue with chapter 2, which is management and organizational environment. Let me check if I have 15, so minus SKC, minus me, 13 lah. All right. So I just want to remind you that, let me show you lah senang. So until today, I just received video presentation 6. So out of, I think we have 15 in our class. So until now, I just received 6 video presentation. And then the deadline is tonight, before 12 a.m. So make sure you submit it. I have given few choice. Let's say if you don't want to submit it in media file, so you can just upload it in your drive and then you can give me the link. Okay, as long as you submit and then I can view it. The remaining students, please submit your video presentation by today lah. Okay, so let's take a look at chapter 2. It's 2:32 now. So today we are going to learn about environment, organizational culture. We're going to touch a little bit on diversity, and then ethical behavior and social responsibility, and also global dimension of management. So throughout this class, I'm going to share you with several like videos, and then some of the article. As you can see in your UROCs, I have uploaded a link where you can have an extra reading later in class, later after class. All right, the learning outcome for this topic is to discuss the significance of organizational culture. So we are going to take a look at different types of culture in management or in company, and the importance of ethical behavior and social responsibility. And then we are going to take a look at the internal and external business environment and examine the challenge that arise nowadays due to globalization. Okay, so first of all, let me just make it quick. Okay, first of all, let's take a look at the environment. Okay, in one of the thing in management is about knowing what are the environments that your company in, and then we have internal and also external environment. The internal business environment and external business environment. So what are these environment refers to? The factors. Okay, the factors that companies, organization have to look at in order for them to come up with a good management practice. Later we're going to learn about how to the company vision, mission, and so on. So this is very important, as I said in previous class. Each company, they have their own objective, their own practices. So they have to know about the the environment that they are in first, okay, before they make a decision. For example, like if a service company, so the top priority is definitely the customer. So one of the external micro internal business environment is they make sure to have like customer centric approach and so on. Okay. All right, so these are some of the internal business environment. Internal means within the company. So the first one is the value system. So value system is a sort of, moral values, the practices, the things that is practiced by the employees of the company. So how this actually impact the corporate ataupun impact the organization is, as a business, you need to know, you need to make sure that your business have emphasized on certain values, right? Definitely good moral values lah. And we do have vision, mission, and objective, but this is to provide directions, right? This one is to provide direction. This one is for the strategic decision making. So we know that where our company is heading. But for value system is referring to a lot of like similar with corporate culture, but the things that they believe in, your company believe in. For example, I think as you can see my background here, hold on, I can't even see myself. Okay, is it here? You can see the words heroes, right? Or Uniraza. So this is the values that we believe in, or the values that is being emphasized in our organization. So who's going to practice this? Both of us, all right? Educators and also students. So let's say if you are a part of the organization, you need to know that you have you are practicing this value, you are holding dearly into these values. Aku lupa HEROES, yeah, heroes. Okay. So maybe if let's say if you are a top management in a company and then you still you think that, oh, I don't really communicate this with my employees, all right? I didn't say that what are the values that we hold into, what are the values that you have to practice in this company. So it might be a good step for you to introduce this. And let's say if you are an employee and you never heard this, my previous company, they do like apa orang panggil tu, like a periodically spot check, not spot check about our staff and so on, but our knowledge. Okay, so sometimes during they will call like a town hall ataupun meeting, and then they will ask us about the values. Okay, and my previous company lagi banyak, at least Uniraza we have 6. My previous we have 13. So they ask, what are those 13 value that should be practices, and then where can we find this? So they make a kind of like spot check, like the panggil tu spot check ataupun a quiz, and then they ask, okay, let's say if you want to know our vision, where should you refer to? In which blog that we display these values, the values, which blog we apa tu display the vision, mission, and objective of our company. So you might do that as well, okay, for your employees to know more about your value system, that so that they know vision, mission, objective, the directions on decision making, and then also let's say if you have very good objective, very good mission, inspiring one, so this might be inspirational for your employee, okay, because they will feel like they are part of something that is good, so on. And by being inspired, so maybe we can have a lot of engagement, okay. Employee engagement is very important. It can it will be easier to communicate with them. It will be easier to get them to participate in the company's practices, company's effort. And later on, we are going to learn about social responsibility. So social responsibility, we can have the internal one and external to community and also to the employee. So let's say for community, sometimes you need your employees to be a part of the activity, right? So let's say if your company, you don't have a culture of doing social responsibility, when you want to do it for the first time and then you haven't spoken about it at all, maybe they will feel like, why do I have to do or come extra hours to do this thing for others, okay? Because maybe this is not being communicated before as a company. This is a good thing that we should do. The reason why we do this is not just for our company, but to help the community. So they have to be communicated about this, right? If you don't communicate later, it's very difficult to get engagement. And then organizational structure. So we are going to learn about this. We have different types of organizational structure. traditional one, modern one. A lot of things has changes. And then we are going to take a look at that later. And then corporate culture. Okay, so corporate culture is one of the use or one of the thing that is important is because culture is something that how they perceive themselves as a part of the organization. What are the beliefs that they bring in, and then the way that they interact with each other as well. Okay, the way that they interact with each other. So let's say if you're working at, we can have different set of culture. Maksud I, we can have different culture at different departments, different unit. Okay, one organization can have a lot of culture, but actually that is not encouraged. Because of why? Because as an organization, you should have a corporate culture that defines your employee. And then who set the tones? Okay, management. Top management, they should be the one who set the tones. So don't be surprised if, let's say, if you are a management who do everything last minute, or you always change things, you are not firm with your decision, you are not ethical. So don't be surprised if your employees are doing the same thing, okay? Because they just follow their whatever that they see, okay? Ataupun what is has been practices all the time in their workplace. So it's very important for management to set the tone at the top, to show a good culture, and then to to educate them as well. What kind of people that you want to have in your organization, and everything. This is it relates with human resource later. Okay, in terms of recruitment, if you have a culture, if you know your identity, if you know that your company, what kind of people you want to work in your company, so this will affect the recruitment later, right? Human resource. So you know during the interview what kind of people you want, what kind of, and then you should know as well what are the recruitment procedures, such as you can give them what kind of test that you want to give to them to show whether this candidate is appropriate or it's suitable with your company culture or not, right? What kind of questions that you should ask during the interview, and then what kind of maybe later on orientation. All of this is being is related, okay, with the culture. We sometimes we can see in an organization there is no orientation at all. Okay, there is no orientation at all. So when an employee, the newbies come in, and then they don't know what to do, they don't know the people in their workplace, they don't know the structure and so on. So it's not that good, right? When you should give at least orientation ataupun what do we call that? Induction, okay, induction session to new employee. First of all, I really like. It's not that I change places a lot, atau workplace a lot, but I really like when I really feel inspired when during the induction program they show the milestone of the company, right? From the beginning until who they are now. So sometimes, employees can be inspired by seeing that from it can build a reputation, build an image to the new employee about who you are. Okay, but that one is new employee lah. Don't forget about the old employee ataupun the current employee, the existing employees. You have to make sure that they know about the culture as well. Okay, gathering, town hall, occasional meeting with the top management, and so on. Okay, and then human resource, like I've mentioned just now, to know who are the right people to be in your company, right? And then also by having a good culture. For example, okay, I give one culture of normally we hear that okay, management is not listening to us and so on. But imagine if management is listening to the employee. So one of the things that is related to that, employee satisfaction and how it affecting human resource, they will have less turnover. Okay, less turnover in the company. So you don't have to recruit all the time. But I think nowadays there is a perception ataupun there is a what we call practice of management. They don't really care. For them, if the employee wants to work with we don't want to work with any employees who doesn't work with us. Okay, so they know that they can get other candidates out there because the candidates pool are piling up now. Okay, we have a lot of graduates, a lot of people with similar skills with the current employee. So yeah. However, this is actually in theory, okay? In theory, when you do recruitment, it will cost you, okay, it will cost you in terms of energy, in terms of time and cost as well. All right, next is physical resources. So physical resources referring to the facilities, referring to also the technology that you have, your assets, and then other materials that is being used in your company. So this is okay, why we need to know this environment? Because we have to evaluate ourselves later as a company. SWOT analysis, right? We need to know our strength, weakness, and so on. So let's say if we notice that, oh yeah, in our company we have a very good environment of technology. Everything is automated, or everything is, we have system for this. So better workflow, seamless workflow. Compared to a company, they don't really practice technology ataupun they don't have system at their hands. So everything is manual. So might be cause time consuming, maybe cause a lot of errors. So you have to know about your physical resources, about your environment to identify where are your weakness, what are your strengths, and so on. Okay. Let me see if okay, culture. Right. Next is the micro external environment. So the micro external environment, for example, like customer supply. So you have to know this as well. Micro external environment refers to it is actually a process in external environment but have close proximity to a company. For example, if you learn stakeholders, right? So how many stakeholders, how many types of stakeholders that we have? What do you think? Just chat. Okay. So, how many types of stakeholders that you think we have in business environment, or commonly that commonly?
Customers,
Okay,
um,
that one is types. Okay, sorry, category.
category,
Customer falls under which category of stakeholders?
macro. I mean, um,
External.
outside.
Okay, external.
Yeah.
All right. So we have several, we can say two category. The first one that is commonly known as primary and secondary stakeholders, right? Primary and secondary. So primary means that something that is very close to us, where for example, our employee, right? The supplier, and then shareholders, if our company have shareholders. So that one is a primary stakeholder, and also internal. But customer is actually, even though that they are external forces ataupun external factors, but they considered as one of the primary factors because they are the one who contribute to, we cater so much of business operations to meet their needs, to meet their demands, to meet their preferences, right? So they do affect us a lot. How to determine between, how to differentiate between primary and secondary stakeholders? So normally this is my own explanation. Okay, there is no theory, but this is my own explanation. So I like to see in terms of their impacts and involvement. All right. So for primary primary stakeholders, in terms of the impacts, they will impact a lot with the company. They will impact. They will give a direct impact and major impact to the company. For example, employees, right? Imagine if your employees suddenly they don't want to do their work anymore, riot or picket or something like that. So definitely it will affect your business operation. Similar with suppliers as well, right? Any disruptions can affect the business operation. And then for secondary stakeholders, for example, like government, media, activists, apa lagi? Financial institutions. So they don't really have a direct impact, but they can impact you, right? Minor impact. For example, media. Media, they have a power of influencing a lot of people, okay? Mass number of people. So they do have an impact, but do they directly involve in the business operation? They are not. Okay, they can't be involved, direct involvement with the company. Meanwhile, for primary stakeholders, yes, they are the one who involved directly. How customer involved, like I've mentioned to you, whatever they think, whatever they need, so the businesses have to cater that, okay, to fulfill. My boss primary stakeholder is himself. He takes very good care of the primary stakeholders. Yeah, that's how business works. Okay. When we talk about corporate, their main objective, one of their main objective is to serve. Even if you have like a board of directors, right? Their main purpose is to serve for the interest of the shareholders. Right? Very take care of primary taking care of himself. So yeah, so all these stakeholders, right? These are all stakeholders in our in corporate environment in company. So they do give, for example, like micro external environment, customers, suppliers, the public, right? The public as well, the opinion. As you can see now, public voice is very strong. Okay, be careful. Okay, be careful what you do outside. This is out of topic, but seriously, be careful of what you do, because nowadays people will phone all the time. They will record any unusual behavior, any unusual things, right? Even eating in. I discussed this with my students yesterday. About when this boycotting season, right? But boycotting practice. So be careful if you want to walk into the companies, or if you want to buy things from the boycott companies, because people will take picture and you, and then they will make you viral, and so on. Okay, so one of my students shared the experience of in her organization, where because they wear the uniform and then go into McDonald's. So someone recorded, take picture, and then send to management, and then management take action lah. Okay, take action about supporting McDonald's. So yeah, be careful. Again, so as a company, I'm not saying it's wrong or right. It is all depend on your culture, your company culture, right? If you have a strong belief in boycotting and so on, but you have to make sure that your employee knows about it, right? So that they know that, okay, I would not visit while wearing my uniform. So when I wear my uniform, it means that I'm a part of this company. People can see me as the representative, as the image of the company. So if you want to go whatever lah, okay, that is not in line with your company's policy, company's objective, company's reputation, so don't avoid having that. Okay, even my school, okay, my previous school. So I think in any school, okay, in any school, you can't be anywhere outside the school wearing the school punya uniform, right? School uniform or the badge. Because of when we do anything outside the school with the badge, so we are actually a representative showing the image of the school. Similar. But again, you have to tell your employees. Okay, so the impact, for example, like workers' union, okay, and then marketing intermediaries, okay, for example. And other than that, these factors, we can take a look at in terms of the economic condition, not financial condition in our company, but outside the external one. For example, like the market trends, the financial market, and then the regulatory environment as well. Okay, so all those things are considered as micro external environment. And then we have macro external environment. So this is the big picture. Okay, or this one is known um, as so. Okay, political, legal, social, economic, environmental factors, and technological factors. So as a business student, please remember these pastel factors, right? Because I have some tips and I keep on repeating I keep on repeating the same thing all over again. If you are in my class, I'm sorry, I keep on repeating this. Let's say, whatever assignment that you have, okay, let's say it's about factors, it's about try to find out the problem ke apa ke. Use these factors as a basis to find ideas about your assignment, about your essays, about your final exam. Okay, normally I have been practicing this for a long time, especially in final exam lah previously. Whenever that I receive a question, I will take a look at it can be let's say the question asks for impacts. Okay, so I will write down this pastel and then so what are the political impacts? So if I can think of one political impact, so there is one answer. And then what are the social impact? So at least you don't come out with the same answer. Before this, we have final examination where you have to write down the answers, right? And one of the thing as an educator that I find a lot is even though that the wording is different, but it carries the same meaning. For example, kalau social factors kan, social factors, the impact is, let's say you are talking about the demographic and then you are talking about the let's say income, for example. So basically, income is one of the demographic factors, and that is the example of demographic factors. So you have, if you do this, right? My tips is if you do this, you can broaden up your answers, and then you can find a lot of other impacts factors: political, legal, social, economic, environmental, and technology. So as for business, political factors, for example, like we can see that the political stability, the rules and regulation, quite similar with legal factors. Legal factors, the regulations. Let's say if you are a company, you have to be aware of what are the legal requirements for you as a company. As simple as starting the business, you need license, and then you need other license as well to operate a certain operation. So make sure those are the legal factors that you have to follow. And let's say if you about to open a new branch in abroad, okay, international business. So the legal factors here in your home country might not be similar with the host country. So you have to do that pastel analysis as well. Okay, what are the legal factors? And and things are, always changing. Okay, maybe before this it's legal to do this, to do that, but nowadays they have some specific regulation or specific acts to do certain things. So you have to be aware as a business as well. And then social factors, this one referring to like demographic factors, the unemployment, the poverty, and so on. Poverty is under can be economic factors. Economic in terms of the interest rates and so on lah. Okay. Environmental factors and also technological factors. So these are the macro external environment that is affecting the management practice. Okay, now we are going to learn the second topic, which is organizational culture. So from this slide, it shows here that we have three basic traits of organizational culture, right? But before that, maybe we can do a little bit like a discussion. Okay, so when we talk about culture, what do you think the characteristic of culture in organizational culture? What do you think the characteristic of organizational culture? What do you understand about having a culture in organization? you can write down, or
It has, in my opinion, it has to be friendly, doable. The character has to be,
doable.
yeah,
Okay, something
has
that
to
is
make sense, for the country itself.
come again, the last sentence.
So in my opinion, I think it has to be doable. It has to make sense. The character has to be what do you call that? It has to somewhat align with the location of the company, like within which country it is.
I see. Okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't see who's talking actually.
Oh, my camera's off.
But I couldn't even.
Amal.
Mana you punya? Oh, okay. Okay, okay, okay. So I can see here. All right. Thank you, Amal.
Sorry, I'm folding clothes. Okay.
Because this is very difficult to see. I have a small screen, okay, small screen, and everything is here. So I think I need to have like a extension of screen. Okay, so yes, yes, yes. Okay, it's something that is something that is makes sense in the company because it's everything that is everyone is doing it, right? So it need to be aligned with the for example, I think what you meant by the location. So let's say if you are a company in a most Muslim practice company, so you have to make sure that your culture is quite aligned with the location, the country itself. Okay, so yes, it is one of it. Any other answer or ideas? Okay, one of the thing about culture. Okay, while you are thinking, so let me just share. One of it is the keyword here is shared. Culture is shared by a lot of people. Dikongsi. All right, because let's say if you are alone doing it, I am alone doing it, so it is not a culture. Okay, culture is something that is shared, that is do by or practice with a lot of people. So when we talk about organizational culture, means that a lot of people is doing that in our company. So let's say if that one that particular person is not doing it, so outlier, no lah, okay, it sounds like an outlier, but what company, if let's say it does not interrupt with business operation, and it's okay, all right, but you have to be careful. For example, like you try to maintain a positivity in your company, a positive image. You notice that okay, in my department it's very harmonious, very positive, everyone is doing their own thing, and then we don't have people, we have healthy competition, right? Competition is needed in company, right? Without competition, there will be no innovation, there will no be improvement, but a healthy one. Okay, the unhealthy one is the backstabbing, the sabotaging, and so that one is not good. So let's say if it's not interrupting with the business operation, then it's fine. But let's say if you notice some unhealthy competition, okay, unhealthy practices, so you need to make sure that it need to be taken care of lah. We don't want, because this thing is, and then it leads to another characteristic of culture, which is it can be learned. Ia boleh dipelajari. Okay, someone can learn the culture. So culture is not something that is not bukan yang tak boleh belajar. Okay, we can adapt. Okay, it's adaptable. It is a learned process. So we don't want the small practices that might not be as dangerous now, but you have to remember that culture is learned, is adaptable, so we don't want it to become a new culture. Okay, we don't want people to learn all this bad culture. We have to take care of it from the beginning lah, if you notice. So need to be aware of it. Okay, ada lagi nak tambah culture? So like I've mentioned to you, it's shared. Okay, it's it involves symbol. Can I tak apa later lah. Okay, so it involves symbolic, and then actually this is very interesting, but you are going to learn about this later in later subject, or you have learned this before, but this is really interesting. Culture is one of my favorite topic, because we can learn so much, and then we can take a look at different practices in different organizations. We can learn a lot of new things that can be implemented in our company. From quality management, it involves commitment from the top management, clear communication of quality objective, and then the involvement of all employees in quality related activities. Yes, okay. So we need to make sure that it is all related from the commitment. Okay, but how to make sure that people are committed? By having a good communication, right? But how to have a good communication? So make sure you need in your communication, you need to outline the objective, the rationale, the impacts, the benefit, the significance of it. And then you have to make one of the things that you need to portray ataupun to communicate is how actually why we need you. Okay, it sounds like so management centric, but yeah. Okay, as a management, you need to tell your employee why we need you. Okay, what kind of expertise that you have to help us and so on. So something like that. To make sure that they commit with us, right? To involve. And then culture also can be changed. It has a lot of values, practice together, okay, cannot be isolated, and then it's adaptive, like I've mentioned just now. So these are some of the, and dynamic as well, okay, and lastly is a dynamic. Okay, dynamic means that it can be changed, it's flexible. Some culture can be implemented here, and some culture can be implemented over there. So it's dynamic. A different similar organization might have a different practice of culture. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm going to share with you several types of other culture, but let's take a look at here first. The basic traits of organizational culture. So the first one is material culture. So entails the way employee in a specific company to work together to produce even goods or service to customers. So this one is a material culture. In other words, okay, from here I can say that this is this is like a more outcome oriented culture. Okay, outcome. We want to focus on the produce given the output of it, okay, the outcome to the customer. And then we have ideological culture. So this one is a shared of belief, perceptions, vision, like we have learned just now. And then dreams that binds employee of a specific business together. Okay. Do you have your company, if you want to share with me, with your friends, do you have a company that shares with you their dreams that bind employee? Very good, huh? Do you have an experience of that? Like, for example, we as a company, we dreams to go to expand our company outside, abroad. So help us to make our dreams come true. Do you have any experience in a company that communicate that? No, okay.
Yeah.
You
For mine, I think even if people go to our website, it's very clear. The dream is to help the world run entirely on green energy. So whatever we're doing, we are doing towards that. Even though we're not directly involved with projects that help the world runs in green energy, but we start small for every department. Yeah.
That's nice. Okay,
Even in our work, yeah.
and then they communicate this a lot during the
Yes, a lot.
that's
Like it's everywhere.
okay. So someone requested, can you share the website?
Oh, yeah. I'll put it in the chat in a bit.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, others, because this is very important, you know, in theory, okay, because in theory, when you share this, you make people believe that I give you one perceptions ataupun one case, but this is from marketing, all right, from marketing perspective or from marketing practices. If you notice nowadays, a lot of companies they started to implement, if you buy this, RM1 will go to a certain NGO or people in need, right? So people say that this is a marketing tactics. Yes, of course, this is a marketing tactics, all right? It's not wrong to have this marketing tactics, but why they do that? Okay, the reason why they do that, because nowadays there is a research that shows that young generation nowadays, when they want to make a purchase, they want to make a purchase by when they want to purchase from any organization, from any company or any brand, they would like that brand to be socially responsible. Okay, so that is one of the characteristic when make purchase. Okay, so before this, maybe it's not really something that we hear a lot. Okay, but now we hear a lot of research. Younger generation, they wanted to feel that they are doing something good while doing shopping and so on. They try to discover this company. Let's say if this company, they are involved in unethical practices, apa nama tu, animal testing and so on, so definitely we are not going to buy from you. Okay, but if a company, when they give donations, all these kind of marketing tactics. So yeah, it can attract the younger generation. So that is one of the reason behind it, right? And then if you go one of the brand that comes to my mind is, for example, like Bath and Body Works. So they try to do a lot as well in protecting the environment. However, there are a lot of allegation that they are still not being fully fully environmentally friendly product and so on. But if you go to their website as well, you can see their commitments. Okay, in fact, a lot of companies nowadays, they have a specific tab for you to see about their sustainability. That's the word, yeah. Sustainability. So you go to big brands, okay, go to their website and take a look at the sustainability. You can see what are their dreams, what are their efforts, and what are their objectives. Okay, because the world that this is totally a different class already. Okay, the world that we're living in is just we borrow it from a future generation. So they believe that actually we have to preserve this for the future generation, for their own future generation. Okay, so a lot of companies is doing that in their website. Okay, take a look at the sustainability effort and so on. You can find a lot of companies practices. So I taught corporate social responsibility before, one subject. So it's a very interesting class. I'm not sure for master degree we have that subject or not. So it's very interesting to see different companies is being creative in providing social responsibility programs, right? Next is social culture. So this one is different responsibility and duty fulfilled by employees in different levels of management. Okay, but actually it's more than this. So I'm going to show with I'm going to share with you. Let me how to do this. Okay. So I just jumped to here. The rest you can read later. I have given the link to you in the chat box. Okay, so the first one is the types of organization culture. This is very famous in theory. It has been taught over and over again. So basically, we have the 4 types of culture. Have you seen this before? the 4 types of organizational culture? Okay, so we have clan, we have autocracy, we have hierarchy, and we also have market. So what differentiate between these 4 is in terms of these 4 things, which is flexibility, and then in terms of independence, interdependence, and stability. Okay, ataupun dekat sini, flexibility and discretion, internal focus and integration, external focus and differentiation, stability and control. So external focus and differentiation refers to like innovation, things, change, external factors lah. Meanwhile, for internal focus and integration, this is focused on the employees part, and then in the structure, yeah, more internal punya environment that you have than just now. So let's take a look at their characteristic. Okay, so the first one is the explanation. Okay, the first one is autocracy culture. So it located here. Okay. So what they create is individual, because this focus more on external focus and differentiation, meaning innovation. So what they create is individual initiative, right? So the companies promotes creativity, innovation in their company. And then in terms of risk, they are risk-taking kind of company. And then it's very flexible, and then focus on growth. So most startup that like Apple, Google, Facebook are driven by this kind of culture because it provides them to be innovative. They reward their employees if they can come with new innovation to be creative and so on, right? And then it is more flexible in terms of the structure. You can see more flat, more decentralized structure compared to the another different types of culture. And then may be regulated to a specific unit to ensure organization remain innovative and competitive in the market. So they do rely on innovative a lot. They put emphasis on that. Next is the clan culture. So the clan culture, I think we hear it a lot. This is like family. Okay, no, we hear a lot of management, a lot of company. They try to think about their employees ataupun their company as family or a group of people with strong common interests. Right? It's very common in a small or family-owned businesses that is not hierarchical in nature. So for example, this company, okay, they describe clan culture that prioritize their employees. So apa dia punya aims is to make sure that teamwork, all employees feel equal, and then because this is internal focus and integration, right? They focus more on the interpersonal relationship. They put a very strong emphasis on shared values, right? Shared values. And then make sure that everyone in their organization work together, collaborating with each other, right? And then one of the things that they do is like a mentoring system. Okay, try to influence employees to participate more, right? But the downside of this culture is difficult to maintain as the organization grows, right? Why? Because new people comes in, and then at some point your objective of the company might change as well. So companies, they have a different orientation. So it can be from it can be from people-oriented company. It can change totally different to profit-oriented. Okay, so when companies grow, a lot of things, for example, maybe if let's say they have shareholders, so they have to change the objective. The primary objective is to serve the interest of the shareholders. So yeah, might be That is the downside of this culture. In my experience as well, I have worked with a company who practice clan culture before. We are we are totally, it's like a family. We are so apa namanya rapat kan. We are very close to each other. Even we know everyone in the company, okay, because it's a small, not so small company. We have about, I think, my ID number pun dah berapa ratus kan, so we have a lot of us, but we know every single one of us. We know the names, their hobbies, and so on. All right, but however the organization grows, and then the first thing that made that changed the culture is the separation of a workplace. So we moved into a very huge office. We have the inside joke. I'm sorry, do we have Maxis employee here? I'm sorry, yeah, but when our company is grow, okay, from the small office, and then we change to a huge office, and then we see that, oh, okay, welcome to Maxis, because it shows like tak tahu pun Maxis tu macam mana kan, but yeah, separation of workplace. So you do you, and so on. So yeah, there is no more family, right? There is no more small gathering, because it's now is a profit oriented. Okay. Okay. Next is dah pukul berapa? Oh my god, time moves so fast. Hierarchy culture. Okay, hierarchy culture. This is mostly practiced in US and also in our, let's say in our country, public sector. Okay, public sector. It's very hierarchical. Means that because it focuses more on stability, it's not flexible. Not a lot of things changes in short period of time. Okay, it's very stable, and then one employee might do the same thing all over again until pension. Until pension. Okay, so it's supposed to be efficient, because of why? Because the same thing, the same people, same employee doing things all over again. So they should be very good at what they are doing. So should be very efficient, should be very effective. Okay. So this kind of culture may prevent, or because they simply do not promoting changes. So they may prevent the employee of to being creative, innovative, and so on, right? Doesn't matter whether the market are changing, whether the industry requires new things. For example, the easiest thing is digitalization. So for a company with this hierarchy culture, they don't think, ataupun they don't really put emphasis on technological. Okay, they do not respond as fast as other culture. Yeah, might lack flexibility in today's and future markets, right? I believe that by having a good awareness of management practice and so on, even our public sector, okay, public sector previously from public administration, now it has changed to new public management, where new public management focus a little bit on digitalization, a little bit on being responsive towards the citizen needs. All right. So you can see they don't have choice. In Malaysia, for example, they don't really have choice during COVID, whether they have to come up with innovation, right, to be more involved with online transaction and so on. Because of why? Because new public management, right? New public management, and now we have a new one, which is new public governance. Okay, new public governance, NPG. But none of the country here in the world has fully adopted this. Okay, new public governance. New public governance referring to collaboration. They do collaborate with, for example, like private partnership a lot with them, and then a lot of innovation. So it's like a more like private practices already. New private company doing practice. So new public governance. It is quite difficult to do this because public sector, we have a very centralized management, not that easy to implement things. have to go for so many layers, process, and so on. All right. Yeah. Next, so what do they create? Structure, clear structure. There will no big question. Who are we going to see in order for, let's say, if you have a project, so where do you want to go to get this approved? Okay, so you have a very clear structure. Okay, layer of management, layer of the organization, right? And then stability, like I've mentioned, to efficiency, they should be efficient. Okay, so let's say after this, if you have friends, make a joke with them lah. State that so you have been doing this for so many years, you should be effective now. You should be efficient at doing what you doing now. Okay, and then they also have well-defined rules, policy, and roles. Okay. Next, lastly, is the market culture. So market culture, strong emphasis on competition. Okay, competition and also profit margins. So say goodbye to family. So this one is not really people-oriented. They focus more on what customer wants and then how to generate more profit. Okay, so for example of the company's driven, but I'm not saying that if your company is, for example, like Tesla, I'm sure that they also practices other culture as well. Okay, it doesn't mean that if you are a market culture means that you totally neglect your employees by not having a good interpersonal relationship. No, it doesn't mean like that. Okay, this is when the company is, this is apa panggil, when the characteristic of each traits tu terlampau tinggi. Okay, they practice a lot. For example, here in this company, for example, Tesla, Amazon, might be they focus more on customer, what customer wants, right? In education as well, some university like that. Okay, we focus on students as a customer, what they want, so we respond to that instead of respond to other, for example, like internal CSR. We don't do employee CSR, for example. Okay, so we focus more on the customer centric, customer oriented. So market culture is like that. They create competition and also innovation, right? Innovation. And then what they want to do is they want to be the pioneer, or they want to come up with something before their competitors. Okay. So what do they create? An employee who is very competitive. All right. And then they also create leaders who can be very demanding leaders, very inspiring, because they need people to get things done in order for them to get the output. And then they are a company with a strong customer focus, because that's all what they did, right? Focus on what customer wants, the preference, cater to every individual market, and so on, right? Results orientation. So other than that, you can see here, you can see here we have other types that falls under this for culture lah. Okay, so we have purpose culture, we have learning organizational culture, enjoyment. So this is a having fun and sense of humor is what defines in this culture. So I can say that this is a small practices by the employees, right? Result organizational culture, and maybe some company they have a balance lah. Okay, kena ada a balance. So as a management, you need to find this balance to have an enjoyment, to feel, to make sure that your office, your workplace is a place for them to enjoy working with you, but also to make them committed enough to provide with the with the good results that you intended to have. Okay. Authority. So this one clearly for in, let's say, in apa tadi hierarchical culture lah. Okay, because we have a strong structure, clearly defined structure for authority and so on. Okay, next. So how to promote this culture? By having employee training. It can be as earlier as staffing process, the recruitment, right? You got to know your culture, and then you recruit people that you think is beneficial for your company, or you think that can be that have same values, same beliefs as well. Okay. I I share my experience lah, okay, during interview. One of the question that the university asked me is, are you strict lecturer or not strict lecturer at all? Okay, because from the moment the question were asked, I know already. So here in this university, it's either student centric. So kalau let's say if I'm too strict, oh, I'm not suitable, because you know lah, student kan, mana student nak lecturer yang strict. Or let's say if I'm a strict lecturer, if I'm not strict lecturer, it's okay. It's customer centric. And another one is maybe they wanted to have they wanted to have like lecturers with, I can say, like maybe strong leadership skill ke kan, to make sure that students takut ke, we can see that the advocacy and also the customer focus just now, right? So from the moment when they ask this, we know already, alamak, ni macam mana kita nak tahu kan which one ni, in order for us to get the job, right? How do we know this company which practice? So from the applicant side, so you have to do research lah about the company. But in my experience, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. So this is like a really tembak answer for me lah. Okay. So my answer was, I'm flexible. Okay, flexible. But turns out, okay, for me, I think, okay, whatever it is, I said that I'm flexible and depends on the situation. So that's my answer. That's my exact answer. That's my exact word. But I didn't know that that's the answer that they are looking for. Wah, bagus lah kan. So okay lah, dapat lah kerja kan. So maybe Uni Razak can start enjoyment culture, no need exam. We don't have exam now, right? We do have assessment. This is one of the customer centric approach. Because of why? Because we do have examination before this. When I joined this company, we have examination, and suddenly, wow, this is truly what we learn here. This is truly the Uni Razak practice ni. It's exactly what at this approach now. Okay, at this I'm not saying that Uni Razak is totally market culture, no. But for this final exam punya issue, this is totally market culture. Shows the characteristic of market culture. Because of why? Because first is competitive, right? We do compete with other university. Okay, the moment that university, that particular university as our competitor, implement final assessment, so we got to react, right? Because we want to make sure that we not tarik students, right? We want to attract the customer ataupun prospects. So that is one thing, competitive. Once we know that this university has implemented final assessment, means that no final exam. So definitely, okay. To be honest, I'm a lecturer and I also a student. So examination sounds so stressful for me. I also tak suka. Okay, by being an educator, I also tak suka. But I do like test. Test means that it can be any test, right? It can be like midterm, it can be like a discussion, participation, all those kind of tests, the assessment lah, assignments. So we do react to this, okay, the competitiveness to make sure that we also can attract prospect. And second is by having survey, okay, in faculty meeting, we do discuss this. All right, what do prospect wants? What do students want? And then we discuss, right? If let's say we implement this, do you think that student want this? if we implement this, do you think that students punya experience will be better? All those things, right? So strong customer focus in that sense. But we do have a very good interpersonal relationship with employees, right? I haven't heard we are treating family. I don't think I've heard before, but I'm not sure lah. Okay, but I think that we are more like educacy culture because we're a little bit like flexible and we are innovative as well. We are small university, okay? We are small and we are focusing on the several field only. We are not big campus like other university. Sampai tak cukup lah nama kan nak letak. Semua ada medical, engineering and so on. So we are a niche university. Okay, niche but elite university share. All right. So yeah. So this is the outcome. Okay, the outcome of this. No need exam anymore. So final assessment. It's just started last year, November, if I'm not mistaken, last year. Okay, next is creating a vision, mission, and goals. Okay, and then communication, like I've mentioned to you, and of course, by having communication alone is not enough, but you need to show some actions from the top. Okay, as a management, you should promote this culture. You need to be the one who act to show, to be a role model for whatever culture you intended to have in your company. Okay, let's take a 5 minutes break, and then we are going to continue with diversity. Okay, while having a break, so you can watch this video. This video is about one company. What they do is they promote a tool for you to come out with the right culture for your company. All right. So yeah.
The Denison Organisational Culture Survey provides a comprehensive yet easy to understand analysis of the cultural dynamics of your organisation, which is linked to your current performance. Based on the Denison Organisational Culture Model, the 48-item survey measures employees' beliefs and assumptions around 4 of the cultural dynamics of your organisation, which is linked to your current performance. Based on the Denison Organisational Culture Model, the 48-item survey measures employees' beliefs and assumptions around 4 specific traits that explore the balance that has to be maintained for any high-performing company. Mission: defining a meaningful long-term direction for the organisation. What is your ultimate purpose? Consistency: defining the values, systems and processes that form the basis of the organization's culture. Does your system that has to be maintained for any high-performing company? Mission: defining a meaningful long-term direction for the organization. What is your ultimate purpose? Consistency: defining the values, systems and processes that form the basis of the organization's culture. Does your system create leverage? Involvement: building human capability and creating a shared sense of ownership and responsibility throughout the organization. Are your people aligned and engaged? Adaptability: translating the demands of the external environment into action. Are you listening to the marketplace and to your customers? The challenge for leaders is to maintain a balanced focus across all 4 traits. Evidence confirms that organizational growth results when a strong sense of mission and adaptability meet. When people feel involved and accountable with systems that can leverage reliable practice, organizations can predict efficient operating performance with higher levels of quality and employee satisfaction. When organizations are listening to their market and have employees who believe they can make a difference, innovation and customer satisfaction flourishes in this flexible space. The right side of the model, the stable side, focuses on predictability over time and create alignments that result in greater efficiency and profitability. Whilst balance across the four traits is key in any high-performing organization, there are also dynamic tensions that need to be managed. Balance between mission and involvement is required to learn how to link the strategies to the shared sense of responsibility and ownership. This tension seeks to answer the question, are our people aligned to our strategy? High-performing organizations achieve equilibrium between the dual challenges of adapting to the external environment and maintaining internal integration and consistency to produce quality products and services. This tension seeks to answer the question, can we deliver the promises we make to our customers? Each of the four traits are defined by 3 management practices, each measured with 4 questions, which yields a 48-item questionnaire in total and takes less than 15 minutes to complete. After administering the survey data, Denison Consulting will present your results as a 3-core section report. The Circumplex report identifies the strengths and weaknesses and presents your scores in percentiles, which allows comparison of your organization's performance with over 1,000 organizations in our global normative database. The line item report provides a more in-depth look at how your organization scored on each question on the survey. The high-low report summarizes your 5 highest and lowest scores. This is useful to identify trends and patterns in your results. The Denison Organizational Culture Survey enables leaders, stakeholders, and employees to understand what may be impacting on current performance and to redirect their organizational culture to improve organizational effectiveness. It has been used by over 5,000 companies worldwide over the last 25 years and has become the organizational culture and effectiveness assessment tool of choice among the world's leading organizations.
Reasons why effective management of workforce diversity has positive implication of an organization. Okay, so diversity, because there's not a lot of information here. So let me share with you some of the things that I found out. Okay, so this. When we talk about diversity, what kind of diversity that we look for in organization? So it can be 4 categories here according to this article ataupun these resources. So 4 categories that separate the layers of diversity, namely personality, internal dimension, external dimension, and organizational dimension. So firstly, right, the diversity that we can take into in terms of personality, for example, this is all related with whatever that we have discussed just now. The person that we want to have in our company, right? What kind of personality? That's why we have personality tests. One of the during the interview session, one of the assessment methods ataupun assessment tools that they use, the corporate use, is personality test. Even in government as well, I believe that they also have those tests. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. Apa test tu? Penilaian something. I do follow SPO and JPA, SPA ke JPA tu kan. They have the penilaian something lah to see your personality. A set of question just to understand in this situation which answer that they choose, and they are going to calculate it later. Okay, so personality, how whether you are introvert, extrovert, and then this area analyze how a person would interact with other people, okay, and as well how others will interact with and react to them. Okay, and then after that, we have internal dimensions. Okay, so internal dimensions referring to 6 characteristics which is gender, age, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, and physical ability. All right. But in our country, I think for sexual orientation is a sensitive issue. All right. But as a company, you should be straightforward in your company's policy, whether you the apa namanya tu, in your code of conduct, okay, in your code of conduct in terms of discrimination, you should put a clause there. You can't discriminate people from the gender, age, sexual orientation if it's applied to your company, race, ethnicity, and also physical ability. So these are the internal dimension. For the most, these characteristics are not life choices. Okay, they are ultimately reflect the treatment of people in organization as well as perceptions. Right, we definitely know, and this is go back to the culture as well. Okay, let's say for ethnicity, for race, even age. Okay, age, we have this cultural thing, apa, culturally thing, which is the generation. All right, the generation. Apa orang panggil, stereotyping. Okay, so when we put a certain traits towards a generational thing, right? It is actually apa orang panggil tu, an analysis of age. How do they do their work? I have shared before this, the way that generation works in organization. There are some similarities, there are some differences, right? As easy as pick up, you do call, right? Previous generation like baby boomer, generation X, they prefer phone calls, they prefer meeting face to face, but in younger generation, they prefer instant messaging, they prefer online meeting, they prefer it more apa, working hours is what is working hours for them, right? Doesn't care. Pukul malam pun dia still work punya message. But sometimes it cannot be, orang panggil, it cannot be tak boleh nak dielakkan lah, right? Cannot be elakkan because the nature of the job itself. Sometimes we have companies, they work at odd hours, right? There is no work-life balance, right? So this is totally a different topic already. Okay, so internal dimension. And then external dimension. This is the result of their life experience and choices. For example, level of education. So some people choose to study tertiary education and some not, right? Marital status, their work experience. Okay, definitely this is the result of their choices, where they want to work before this and so on lah, right? External dimension. And this characteristic, okay, how actually it can lead to diversity is when you have been working for other company, for example, different company, they have different practices, different experience. And then when you join a company, so you bring all those experience, all those skill to new company, right? That is how diversity took place lah. You are having someone new in a company with a different set of skill, different set of experience, right? And then how people either connect or disconnect, where value or disrespect them. Such of a person making an opinion, all these things. This is actually as well sources of, for example, like that level of education, work experience, recreational habit. This is sources of apa orang panggil tu, perceptions as well, right? Perceptions, individual thinking. So that's why it will affect the way that they connect with other people. Okay, individual thinking. Some people maybe they have very advanced, very fast thinking because they have been working in a very fast working environment before. but when they join maybe like a slow moving environment where people do a lot of brainstorming dulu ke slow decision making, so they feel disconnected with the environment. And then lastly is organizational dimension. So organizational dimension refers to similarities and difference of the workforce, right? It allows assessment of what outcome would be a particular person holding a position of leadership versus forming part of the team. Okay. Investigate the effective treatment of both colleagues and overall productivity of our organization. Okay, so the rest of this document, the strategy, okay, to develop diversity and inclusion strategy. I believe for your term paper, one of the topic is this topic. Okay, for your term paper, how to create an inclusive strategy ataupun inclusive rewards, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, some areas to consider is to embrace individuality, right? To ensure that employee does not have to mask who they are at work, right? At a certain point lah. So for example, a Muslim employee who feels insecure about maintaining their prayer routine. Okay, so it should be like that, like this, right? We shouldn't feel insecure of who we are. Okay, for example, like Muslim, we should be able to have a peaceful moment, a right. That is another right, okay, employee right for us to performing prayer, and then forcing employee with tattoo to cover their marking. So let's say you can prevent this from the start. Okay, you know that, let's say your company is not, for example, like airlines. I don't think airlines, you can have a visible tattoo. So it should be communicated as early during the interview process. So to have, to discuss about this first. A certain industry, they have a requirement lah, okay, but other than that, it should be fine. Breastfeeding mother returning to work with no area to pump her breast milk and so on. So as a organization, as management, you should think of these differences, these diverse dimensions, right? For example, like this just now about the breastfeeding is gender. Okay, what are the things that can make them can facilitate for them to make their life easier, to have a more welcoming work environment. Okay, when employees feel that they have to hide or mask for part of themselves because they feel unsure, so it can take a toll on motivation and engagement. So let's say if you have any experience, just put in chat here. Okay, in chat here, if you want to discuss anything, feel free to write down anything lah. Because if you don't stop me, I will be talking until buka puasa. Okay, so feel free to give your opinion or interrupt me whenever you want. Okay, so next is from the shop floor. To create this one, the rest you can read. Okay, create a safe communication platform. This is very important, right? A lot of company has started to have a platform for them to convey any dissatisfaction, even to report any unethical behavior, okay, to report for further investigation lah, not report tu maksudnya if you want to become a whistleblower, so make sure that you have a valid proof, right? A very credible proof. So but other than that, they have like a hotspot. If we take a look at what happened in previous weeks, in previous weeks about the surat layang thing, right? So but according to the case, they have been using the right channel, using the right channel for communicating misbehavior, unethical behavior, but there is no action taken. So that's why they seek for an external ataupun a different channel, which is social media, and also by having an anonymous letter, things like that. Okay, So maybe can consider, right? Consider a platform for employee. Actually, this can cater as well. In crisis communication, one of the reasons why we do have communication platform is to control, right? If let's say they don't have a space for them to give the dissatisfaction ataupun their grievance and so on, so they might seek for other external platform, right? So we don't want that. We don't want that for the sake of, I'm talking in the context of crisis communication, okay? We don't want that because it can affect the reputation, the image, right? On legal issue, it's a different case lah, okay? Legal issue, different case. So by having a safe communication platform, we can actually take care of it first before it went outside the organization. Okay. For example, an employee from the LGBT community is allowed to articulate how they would be like to address by fellow employees and why. There is one video. About inclusivity by the hiring platform. Bukan hiring platform, sorry. By job seeking platform. Yang Indeed, if I'm not mistaken, Indeed, pernah dengar kan? So Indeed, they come out with a video about inclusivity lah, of LGBT community. It shows how stressed the employee, not employee, the prospect is ataupun the candidate is because I forgot lah, he or she lah, okay, she wants to attend for the interview, and then I think the first thing the recruiter asks her is what should I address you as? Okay, it's whether she or her, things like that. Yeah, okay, so that is one of the video that I can think of to show about inclusivity and everything. But yeah, safe communication platform for the employees inside your organization. Okay, intergenerational harmony. Like I've mentioned to you just now, right? The generation. Okay, I don't see it's the problem. All we have to do is adapt. The culture is adaptable, right? I really love to know how to work with all the generations. Okay, it has been a debate, okay, about the generation Alpha generation or Generation Z, sorry. So for me, they are the future of the workforce. Okay, whether you like it or not, why change them? Okay, we have to find a way, meet in the middle, to make sure that we can collaborate together, right? And it's not easy as well. Let's say if I'm teaching undergraduates, like last semester, I still teach undergraduates. Sometimes we don't understand. Sometimes we don't understand a certain behavior or certain thinking style. But again, go back to this, the way that they have been exposed in schools, social media. So yeah, right. One way for us to, for me as an educator, is try to understand. Okay, ask more. Why do you think like that? Or why do you choose to do things like that? Try to find answer lah. All right. In terms of working, no problem, because we are working with in our faculty is most of it generation Y, X. I don't think that we have baby boomers anymore. Okay. So yeah, this is the generational things. Make sure that every generation feel welcome in the workplace. And universal infrastructure, okay, for physically disability, and also for people who have like us lah. Okay. All right. Next is ethical behavior and social responsibility. Okay. This will be like so boring topic. Okay, but again, management ethical behavior. As a management, as a leader, we should be ethical at all times, and then show as a role model, being a moral person. We have several theories. Later, we are going to take a look at those theory. Just be reminded that you have another document, right, other than this, apa tu nama? Other than this PowerPoint, you have also study notes. So maybe, for example, like this one, in this slide, you don't have explanation, but I believe in the study notes, there are some explanations. Okay. So as a manager, manager has to possess various personal qualities that cause them to become individual or high moral standings. So this value includes honesty, integrity, and transparency. And also you need to have ethical leadership style. You need to have ethical leadership style where they should seek to promote fairness and equity when making decisions. Okay. Next is, let's take a look at some ethical framework in making ethical decisions. Right. This is theory from previous research, from previous scholars. So I'm going to explain or discuss, or how many of you have heard this word before, or this is the first time that you are seeing these words? Ataupun pernah belajar before?
For me, first time is
First time,
yes.
okay. All right. So the differences, right? The differences between all this, basically the same, looks the same. The objective is the same, is about ethics, about morality, deontology. Yes, deontology. So let's go one by one. Okay, so the famous, really famous one is the utilitarianism. This is, I'm sorry, I forgot who actually implement this. Okay, never mind. But what is focused on is the consequence. Okay, the consequence. Kesan ataupun impact. So under this utilitarianism, this theory mentioned that whatever that we do, we need to put focus on the consequences that can maximize, that can benefit the maximum number of people. Okay, so let's say in the dilemma, we are about to handle these two different group of people ataupun two situations. And then the decision that we make under utilitarianism is that we are going to choose the decision that can provide benefit for the mass number of people. Okay, the greater number of people. And then for example, okay, it deals with consequences. You can see, I think you can do your own analysis or reflect thinking on, let's say, your whatever that your management ataupun you yourself has implemented before this. We have so many choices, but we have to, when we make decision, we have to choose the one that can benefit most people rather than just several group of people or the minority. Okay, the concept of majority, we focus more on the majority, the consequences of benefiting this majority. Okay, so that one is utilitarianism. Now, next one is the right and duties approach. Okay, so this one is another framework. This one is easy. Everybody have rights. Okay, for example, like us humans, we have our own rights. So under rights and duty approach, everybody need to be treated as the way that we want to be treated. Okay, the way that rights. We under this theory ataupun under this framework, everybody need to be protected, respected, their moral rights as human. And then humans, they have dignity, so based on their human nature. And then to respect for this human to choose freely lah, what they want to do with their life, until to a certain extent lah, okay? Good things, okay. It doesn't mean that whatever that they want to do in their life, whether it's bad, then we can respect that. No, until a certain extent. Okay, because these are all about ethical. So morality, right? Doing the good things. Ethics. Ethics is all about doing the right things. Okay. And then, and other than that, in management or in organization, we have, as an employee, we have the right to be told the truth. We have the right to be not injured. So as a management, you should provide safe workplace, not injured, not only physical, but also emotional. Okay, so yeah. We don't want any emotional abuse in workplace. Okay, we have a right to be not to be injured. We have to be right to tell the truth. It sounds like, yeah, okay, if everybody is practicing this, we will have a very harmonious workplace. We will have a very healthy workplace, right? But it's not that easy as this theory. In practical, it's not as easy as this, because a lot of other factors, a lot of just now we have learned about their experience, about the way that people do their about whatever that they practice. So we can't assume that everyone is as honest as we are. So yeah. Okay, and then also to receive some kind of degree of privacy. Next is justice approach. Okay, justice approach, like the name is justice. So as a human being ataupun as an employee, we should be treated equally. Okay, we should be treated equally. And then yeah, okay. It from the pay, okay, from the salary, from the workload. As a manager, you have to make sure that you are treating everybody equally, right? And then ethics of care theory. Okay, ethics of care theory. This one is easy, promote the healthy relationship and well-being of the individuals. Okay, and then their interdependency. That one is the ethics of care theory. Virtue theory. Okay, virtue theory is quite interesting. Because of what? Because in order for us to have a virtue, ethics means that okay, but let's say the definition of virtue ethics, all right, is you know what to do. You know what the right thing to do at the right time, at the and the right approach, using the right approach, using the right tools towards the right people. So the clue here, the keyword here is doing everything right. Okay, so that one is when we have a virtue. If let's say how to determine that if we are a virtue leader, a virtue people, people with a very good morality, very good virtue, very good values. So we do this thing, right? We don't just do the right thing, but we do the right thing at the right time, using the right approach towards the right people. Okay, so let's say when we talk about value, when we talk about honesty. Okay, when we talk about honesty, we have also two other ways to look at honesty. But yes, people say that we have to be honest. So let's say, sorry, my example is quite a little bit immature. So for example, if you see someone with a very big zit, for example, jerawat kan. So you say, besarnya jerawat. Okay, so that is, yes, you are being honest. You are pointing the right things. But do you though? Are you a virtue person though? Kan? Because is it the right time for you to acknowledge that, to address that? Is it the right people, or is it the right way to say it? Okay, so when we talk about virtue ethics, there is both two sides. Okay, you have to find the right balance. If you, in honesty, for example, if you do it excessively, it can be a brutal honest. But let's say if you do it less than the actual honesty, it will be not lying, but it can be like a filtering, something like that, filtering communication. You don't exactly tell the truth. Okay, so yeah, by having a virtual leader means that you need to know, you need to assess not only the decision that you want to make, but you have to assess the whole situation. Are you the right person to do it? Is it the right time to do it? Okay, so that is what we call as virtual leader. And in theory, it doesn't have to be difficult to do this. Because of why? Because when we talk about virtue, it's about something that is, this is all our the moral values that we believe in. So if let's say if we are a virtue people, means that we already know the answer. Okay, it doesn't requires a lot of practice, but doesn't means that people who weren't born with this leadership characteristic cannot be a virtue leader. No, it doesn't mean that. Okay, you can also learn. Because why? Because when you learn, it's a habit, right? When you keep on practicing it by assessing, I'm talking I'm talking on a manager punya context lah. So if you are being ethical, if you practice this virtual leadership over and over again, so it will come naturally to you. Okay, and then the next thing is deontology. Okay, deontology means that it's between two things, duty and also morality. Okay, so under deontology, this is, if you have heard before, this is Immanuel Kant, the philosopher, very late philosopher. So it says here that whatever you do as a leader, as a person, will go back to the morality, to the command that you have to do rather than what you desire. So in decision making, it doesn't matter what you desire, you should do the whatever that is command you to do lah. Okay, for example, let's say at some cases lah, if you watch the cartoon, right? The Incredibles. The main character is the one who, yes, very rigid, no consideration for context, exactly. Okay. It's a person who should approve loan. Okay. Sometimes we feel like, let's say our desire feel like, oh, we are very empathy, so on again, but you can't put your desire. You have to focus, you have to do whatever you need to do according to the standards, all the apa orang panggil tu, all the guidelines. So whatever the commands, okay, this is what we call as categorical imperative, means that whatever commands that you have received, you have to do rather than you take control, you take into account your desire. Okay, and then you believe that this command is actually under a moral obligation from a there is a reason. Okay, there is a pure reason for whatever that the management or below apa tu that come up with this command. Okay, mesti ada morality, good, pure reasons for it. Okay, so that one is deontology. This framework is like making ethical decisions lah, like in theory, in whatever, whenever you feel dilemma, so you have to go back and think about, okay, what if I do things that I can't satisfy a lot of people, I can't satisfy every party, so I'm going to take action, to make decision based on who's going to benefit more, right? And then justice, if you choose justice, then maybe more dialogue, more meetings to make sure that every part is being treated equally, to find the apa orang panggil tu, the kata putus. And then if virtue ethics, so you assess everything, you assess every environment, the timing, and then you assess of your own ability, you assess on your the right approach. Okay, it's not that easy, right? When we know these things, right? For me, how it actually reflects my life, when we know all these things to make decision making, so sometimes sometimes it makes us understand more why people choose to do whatever decision that they do. Okay, by maybe because of this thing. Not that easy to make an ethical decision. Decision, sometimes some decision that we know that this is very unethical for pocket sendiri, so that one is different lah. Okay, that one is totally not this. Kita totally not tak masuk kelas I lah tu kan. Okay, next is social responsibility. Social responsibility is about giving back, okay, giving back to society, giving back to your not only society but with your internal customer, okay, which is employee lah. Right. The implementation of environmental sustainable initiative. So here is when we talk about CSR, it can go back to the three pillars where we try to serve in order for a company to be sustainable. We have to take care of the people, the profit, and also the planet. So practices that manager can adopt to promote social responsibility in order for us to take care of the environment. So environmental sustainability initiative. I think dalam kelas ni kot, if I'm not mistaken, last week someone told that I'm not sure, okay, it's whether in this class or my previous class, they have like a specific time in the workplace, have to switch off everything and so on, okay, and also something like that, okay, and then giving back. So giving back, not only monetary, okay, not only monetary, it can be so many things, right? One of the things that I can think of is, for example, Astro. Okay, Astro, we know during COVID, they don't have like a full access to education. They cannot go to school. All these children, they cannot go to school. So what Astro did is they gave a lot of free channels on education. So for SPM students, they can watch this education channels to learn more, right? And then in university as well, I believe that Uniraza is doing that as well. We provide like free tuition for account subject, for mathematics subjects, for SPM students. Okay, so that is, it doesn't really involve in terms of monetary to the stakeholders, but education. And then for the employees, okay, it can be like you give them time, contoh lah, okay, you give them time off to in a month. In my previous workplace, they give us in a month, they give us how many hours lah, okay, time off. So you can take whenever time off you want. For example, like let's say if you want to go to bank open during working time, right? Working hours. So bila you nak pergi kan, if you are working, the bank is working, you are closed, then the bank are closed as well. So the management gave us like a few hours in 1 month, so you can do whatever you want with that time every month, take lah. Okay, so that is for work-life balance ke ataupun for any other purpose. Okay? So I'm not going to explain a lot about corporate social responsibility over here. Later we are going to talk about it. Okay, last part, global dimension of management. Okay, so like I've mentioned to you just now, management has gone through a lot of change. So some management practice before this might not be relevant anymore nowadays. So let's take a look at some of the challenges. Okay? Increased workforce diversity. It needed because of what? Because we need people from different kind of skills to join, to participate in companies. By having a lot of diversity, it can improve first innovation, it can improve the skill, the productivity in the company, because and then it can improve as well the communication, the culture, when people try to get along, try to understand each other, and then yeah, and it can increase competition It can inadequacy of management theories. Like I've mentioned, theories, it is all, I'm not saying outdated, but this has been proved for a very long time ago. Okay, so now we need management practice. We need many more theories that can explain new management practice. Okay, macam contoh lah, macam tadi kan, we have the ethical theory. So now it's not that simple. Now we have maybe other factors to consider and so on. AI, for example, okay, AI, new technology. So let's say if we want to adopt the ethical theory just now to make decision whether to allow AI, whether to. Oh, speaking of AI, I'm sorry, but I cannot not say this about the Kate Middleton, very famous. Okay, the case, the use of AI. I don't know what to believe anymore, right? But that's if that's an AI, it's very unethical of them, right? We should have the right to be told the truth, right? So it's very unfair, okay? They are not doing this ethical behavior like if it's an AI. I'm not sure, okay? So yeah, we have a lot of other things, new things. So maybe we need modern theories, right? We need more relevant theories to help us with all these management practices. And then cultural challenge with diversity. Of course, it involves a lot of different culture. We need to adapt with different culture. And also the emergence of multinational companies. Okay, before we end our class, let's take a look at this. This is the link that I have given to you in your Europs, so you can view it later. But let's just take a look at it now. Can you hear me clearly? Because I see that my line is quite lagging. It's quite slow. But can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Clear, Miss. Clear.
Yes, it's clear, Miss.
All right. So this article or this write-up is a dialogue from several professors, several lecturers, and also one is CEO, if I'm not mistaken, for a company. They discuss about what will management look like in the next 100 years. Okay, the panel of global experts weigh on the practices that will or should change. I'm just going to give you the summary of it. Okay, so the first one is the guiding principle of management, right? Management nowadays, they can start learning how to manage a fluid organization. Fluid organization meaning that an organization with a flatter structure, decentralized practices, right? We need to manage. Why? Because let's say if a flat structure means that you have to manage a lot of people. Based on the structure, right? One reporting director, one reporting manager have to oversee a lot of people. That one is flat. The reason why we have flat structure because we want to make decision making is much easier, faster, and so on, right? But it will be difficult because one people will handle a lot of other people. So what are the right approach? Okay, so yeah, new management practice needed for that. What are the practices that is suitable? Okay, because we don't want to do before this, we have micromanaging, but now you can see whenever that you want to apply for jobs in the job advertisement, they say that they are looking for candidates who can work under minimum supervision, right? So one of it is to train the employees to make decision. Nowadays, for decision making, this is not just for managers anymore. Okay, for every level of employee, there are some extent they need to have a decision making skill, conceptual skill. Right, so fundamentally transforming how organizations operate. New tools are enabling increasing decentralized, autonomous, and boundaryless business relationship. Not only that, okay, that one is added after this. So from the art of war to the art of seduction, everyone knows when we are talking about businesses, corporates, it is all about competition. We try to compete with the competitors, try to come up with innovation, try to be a pioneer for everything. But according to this professor, now in later future, or maybe it has started now, instead of work ataupun compete with the compete with competitors mean that whatever that they do, we try to follow, we try to, be on par with them. But nowadays, it does not relevant anymore. We should start by having knowledge about our customer. Okay, what customer needs, what customer wants. So this is to cater the differences, the individual market, the individual unique market. All right. The goal of business now is not to annihilate competitors, but to attract customers. Right. The act of seduction. Seduction. So it's not about conquering a territory anymore, right? Capturing its resources is about understanding the needs and desire of customers. So we as a customer, we really like this statement, right? We really like so after this, we have much more choices that can be our preference that can be fulfilled by so many choices. Understanding, delivering a product they choose or to buy on their free will. So modern management is about persuasion as it is about command. Rather study the art of the war. So manager in next 100 years might look to master the art of seduction to get the customer at the first place. Next, the decentralized approach to global expansions. Okay, this is what I want to say just now. Okay, when we have fluid organization, we also have for global expansion. So before this, centralized organization means that when you have a company abroad, every strategy is controlled by the parent company. However, moving forward, according to the experts, they say that it should be decentralized. It should be that the host country, they should have a freedom to come up with their own strategy because they understand their local market better compared to the parent company. One strategy cannot cater to all, right? Because of the culture, because of the environment in that particular country, and so on. So this management practice is suitable for MNCs, right? More decentralized, right? We don't want to do a centralized approach. So one of the example that they give here is on the this one, okay? So when Sequoia first expanded overseas into Israeli market, they employ a traditional centralized strategy, and then this has led to failure. But they learn it from the mistake, and then when they entering the Chinese market, what they did was they entrust China team with developing their own strategy, making their own investment decision without with little interference from the headquarters ataupun from the home parent company. So the company was united by shared values, culture, and financial interests. Okay, so by simply having this, nampak macam small, but by simply having the shared values, the culture, and then the goal objective, which is in this context, is financial interest lah. Okay, financial interest. So yeah, they just monitor and coordinate by having this thing. Okay, make sure that they don't forget the company's image, reputation, belief, and then culture. But in terms of the strategy, you are free to do whatever you think best for the local market. But gaining traction in China would be impossible without fundamentally decentralized approach. Okay, next is in terms of the management policy. Before this, we don't put, I'm talking about like 30 years before, 20 years before. Mana ada orang cakap sangat pasal inclusivity, diversity, right? And then we don't really put emphasis on work-life balance, on mental health, and so on. But now these things are started to come to the surface. So we need new policies, right? Management policies, more proactive approach to retention. Retention means that if according to Rachel, the head of Google Stay and Thrive team, according to the exit interview, 67% of employees leaving Google reported that their manager made no attempt to retain them before they gave notice. Okay, so senang cerita, we feel like unappreciated now. Not only that you are going to lose us, baru dah terhege-hege nak retain us. Alright, so before this, there is no effort, there is no there is no special, apa orang panggil tu, bukan special, maksudnya there is no treatment practices to make us stay, to find out what we want, to find out what we like or whatever. But now that when they have made their mind to leave, then only the company will want to retain. So maybe this should be changed, right? Instead of taking managing the retention, try to apa itu? Counter offer the employee. You should start making an effort to make them stay, right? As I said earlier in this class, before this, just now, company, they don't do this anymore because they believe that a lot of other people would like to be very happy working with them, right? But again, you will lose if, let's say, the one who went away is the good employees, right? Good employees, simply because you don't take care of them. They feel like they are wasting their time. There is no growth. There is no maybe promising situation in that current company, so they want to move from the company, right? So next, in the next future, maybe companies should make an effort to persuade this employee to stay. Right. So Google recently began to explicitly acknowledge the myriad benefit of proactively retaining employees. So how? This is all the policy, new policy. By having a good compensation benefit, to have more engagement, all those new management practice that we are learning now. So the new philosophy has multiple components. For example, the first one is manager must adopt a mindset that prioritizes retaining the talent they work so hard to recruit. This is good, right? So masa nak dapatkan bukan main susah kan? So you have to retain them. They must have some certain value. That's the reason why you choose them at the first place. Okay, so let's say if you can see that the value is decreasing, find out why, and then you try to increase the motivation so that they will stay. After that, retention focused manager must work to develop and improve business process designed to keep employees engaged. And third one is to make a concerted effort to understand the distinct factors that motivate each employee. That's why dalam kelas pun, we are going to learn about motivation theory later. So what are the practices that can management implement to motivate employees? I believe that as an employee yourself as well, you find it, motivation is one of the very big issue, right? Not issue lah, very big challenge for you to stay motivated, right? Not to lie, sometimes I do feel like demotivated as well. But again, when we think about, okay, so this company has given me this company has given me that, what else could I want, or what else, why should I feel at certain times, okay, we feel like demotivated, maybe because of some practices, some a little bit rough pack, rough pack. So yeah, as an employee as well, we don't really we can't simply rely on the employers to make us feel motivated. Go back to your own objective, because there must be an objective why you work in that company. There must be something that you want to achieve. right? At the end of, for example, like 5 years, 10 years, what are the things that you would like to achieve so that you boleh pension dengan happily kan, without having apa orang panggil tu, unfinished dream or whatever. Okay, so next is flexible work, because we have a lot of MNCs, we have a lot of global expansion. So sometimes you have to work not in your country, but in other country by having remote working. And then most of the company, I think after COVID, they started to implement flexible work as well. So management, you should find a way to not only control, but to evaluate, okay, to monitor your employees that is working flexible, remote working. Okay, so I firmly believe that over the next 100 years, the old rigid assumptions around how, when, and where we work must be replaced with much more flexible approach. Okay, because of what? Because of the work-life balance, to decrease stress, and also to look at like a big picture is to reduce the carbon emissions, all right, for the pollution, because we commute to work. I think this is a problem for most countries. Okay, traffic jams, the number of vehicles on the road, so carbon emission, very much pollution, right? So yeah, in order for in one of the effort ataupun one of the initiative for a company to contribute to lower carbon emission is by having a remote working. So people can, employee can stay at home and work without have to commute or travel to office. However, okay, flexible work arrangement can only if managed carefully and intentionally, because you don't want productivity to be reduced by having flexible work arrangement. You need to make sure that even though that less supervision, but the productivity, the output will be the same. The quality of the output should be the same. We don't want with less productive works and then not quality output and so on, right? To address this challenge, leaders must cultivate a time-smart approach, helping their team to become more deliberate about when and where they work and developing the best practice to guide flexible work policy. So the mandatory days in office, 9 to 5 days are long gone. It's up to the leaders of the future to invent a better way of working. How many of you actually are remote working? You can, I don't know if you can raise your hands here, but yeah, how many of you are working at home or still 9 to 5 at the workplace? Most of my friends, they still have
9 to 5.
9 to 5, but they have flexibility to work only 3 days a week at the office, so they can 2 weeks at home. Unirazak, for educators, we are flexible. We have to come to campus whenever that we have class and physical meetings or training or whatever. Other than that, you are free to do your work at your own convenient place. And for administrative staff, they have an option to have 1 day a week work from home. Okay, so still 9 to 5, right? But I believe that this should this working environment nowadays, a lot of companies is changing this. But it depends, okay? It depends on the nature of the job as well. Some of the job, for example, kalau let's say in my friends, they are the operation workers. So operation workers, it's quite difficult for us to give them this work condition, right? So they have to be there for the work process and so on. So it depends on the nature of the job. I'm talking about the administrative, more administrative, more behind the screen punya work. Okay, should be okay working remotely. Next is the role of management in society. So this is related back to the social responsibility, where as a company, as a corporate, should be more than just capitalism. All right, you should be more cooperative. You should be more giving back to society. You should be more collaborate with the public, right? However, this is very, 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 I think, very difficult to achieve, right? In order for us to change this mentality for management, because still companies, corporate, their main objective is profit. So very difficult, right, to move from the capitalism mentality. But according to this professor, much management long-centered trade-off among stakeholders. So in the coming 100 years, the shareholders equity system is likely become much less relevant compared to now. Nowadays is yes, okay, very huge interest shareholders. Much has been written about the shift to stakeholder capitalism in general, but specifically, I believe we will see like proliferation of a co-op-based model doing business. More collaboration, more socially responsible companies, corporate, compared to what we have now, right? Instead of relying to the external investor, co-ops are funded by customers in community, meaning that the interests of customer and investor are aligned, right? Find a balance between this. The system is already common in many Scandinavian countries and has become a widespread in Japan. For example, like in his experience as director of Co-op Sapporo, the largest co-op in Hokkaido, 2 billion in revenue by practicing this kind of system. Because company is funded by community, the management is incentivized, focus on making profit in a way that can from people to people, all right, from people to people. From the community itself, and then having a company, and then whatever profit that they make, it will be to support that to the customer and society, right? It also developed a mobile grocery store business, trucks being a selection of product to small villages with no grocery stores, both creating, we do have this, right, cooperatives. Yeah, we do have a small business, and in fact, there is an initiative by the government. Initiative by the government. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. It's about fund, but this is a totally different one. That one is government initiative. Provide funding for this small co-op in a village. So give fundings, and then they make their business, the transaction, and then from the profit, so they are free to do whatever they want the profit to give it back to the community, right? Because this is a business from people to people. We do have that, okay? It's an initiative under Desa Lestari, yes, if I'm not mistaken, the name. Benda ni selalu muncul bila I nak tekan kejap. So we have this Desa Lestari project. Sorry. Desa Lestari program Desa Lestari, where kita baca berita je lah ya. I'm sorry, this is in bahasa. So what they did, what the government did was, I'm really disturbed by the very slow signal. Because I want to change my Wi-Fi, but I takut terputus line kita. Tak apalah. Dah nak last class pun. Dah nak habis class pun. Alright, so here is what they did was, if I'm not mistaken, this is the initiative by the government to menerusi program Desa Lestari. So what they did was, where the government provided grant for a selected village. And then the platform that they use is the community cooperatives. And then it has been implemented from 2013, 137 village throughout the nation, throughout the country. What they want is to increase the pengupayaan community in economic growth in their village. So this is very interesting, right? It's like a bottom up, rakyat sendiri memperkasakan aktiviti ekonomi dan keusahawanan. So it has started now, right? It has started now in a small scale, but let's say if this could be much bigger, so maybe a good minute, but now I know what to say. Okay, so here is kita masuk kelas entrepreneurship sekejap, okay? So the problem with cooperative is one of the, not barriers, one of the kelemahan, okay? One of the drawbacks of cooperatives is because it's from the citizens who might not have is maybe from people who are not well trained. They don't have managerial skill, okay? So what I understand from this article is we should find a better management way to train, right? There's leaders, the economic leaders lah under this cooperative, because it's from the citizen, so might not have a good managerial skill, right? Entrepreneurship skill. So yeah, a lot of training should be provided, and then management approach for small companies, and then to handle the community instead of handle like a employee yang macam kita ada sekarang lah kan. Employee yang kita ada sekarang ni is well educated, it's well have extensive work experience. So but for cooperative, maybe the employees, the one who are the people who moves this is from the village, lack of knowledge, for example, right? So new management approach for this kind of businesses. Okay, I think I have finished the topic for today. Do you have anything to add? Do you have anything to ask, to share, to say? I'm going to share this news with you. Ada apa-apa you want to discuss before we end our class today?
Mizuria,
Yeah.
our presentation boleh tak English sikit, Malay sikit, all English ke macam mana?
It's preferably in English, but
Okay.
it's okay if try your best to explain it. I can still accept lah for Malay, a little bit Malay, a little bit English. Okay, I pun tak mengajar fully English, but preferably is in English.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. So speaking of that, let me just go back to see where the submission ends tonight. So let me see if okay. Thank you for the 2 students. Just now got 6, now got 8. So I should have, according to this participant minus me and SKC 13. So I should have 5 lagi. Okay, 5 more. Right? So these 5 students, don't forget to submit, and then you can start working on your case study. Right? I have 1 student already submit the case study. Then you can start case study or term paper if it's more easier for you, because term paper already have topic. Okay. I hope that you choose your topic. As I say, I'm off the one. Okay, it's okay. Before buka puasa dulu, but make sure jangan terlepas pandang pula. For term paper, anyone wants to change the topic? Anyone wants to propose their own topic? I'm okay. I mean, you have to ask me first for me to see whether it falls under the course learning outcome or not. or if you choose the topic provided, then should be fine. Okay, you can propose your topic. And second, okay. Right, so don't forget to submit. All right, if there is no anything else, no question, then thank you so much for coming today. All right, selamat berbuka puasa for those who are fasting, and I'm going to see you guys next week. Kejap, hold on. Next week is 31st. Okay, 31st apa? Because I just want to tell you earlier that I think you guys know already. Kita akan ada kelas malam.
Yeah, yeah.
Alamak, I think I have. Okay, never mind. That's my fault. Okay, so 3 hari bulan Is it 3? Third
Yes.
of
Yes, third,
Yes.
Miss.
okay, cancel
Third.
buffet Ramadan. Okay, so we have replacement class on the 3rd of April and also another class on the 7th of April. So that during Raya, you can Raya puas-puas on the 14th. And we are going to do our last class on the 21st of April. Okay,